Mr. Neil Williams, who has flown in from Atlanta, Georgia. He's an attorney and serves as a trustee, chair of the Education Committee for the Duke Endowment. So please help me welcome Mr. Neil Williams.
Actually, this is a Charlotte boy who had the pleasure of getting up in Atlanta this morning and coming back home. As Ron knows, I was born about a mile from here in the Wesley Heights neighborhood. My wife was born about 2 miles from here in the Glenwood neighborhood. And you say, how, on that basis, did you ever wind up in Atlanta? But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. My dear wife, for a period of time, was a kindergarten teacher. And she had one of those wonderful little reading groups that all kindergarten teachers have, where you get around and somebody reads a story and you talk about it. And one day she was in the middle of such a thing and started telling them about the book and about other things other than the story itself. And finally, one of the students, I am sure it was a boy, looked up at her and said, "Read, Ms. Williams, read." I am here to say a lot of things, but I think I will begin with the conclusion. So you won't have to stand up and say, "Will you please tell me why it is that you are standing here?" I'm here. I'm here because the Duke Endowment is also having a very good day today. President Carter said this was a good day at Johnson C. Smith. It is a good day for the Duke Endowment. We are excited to announce the largest single gift we have ever given in the history of our relationship with Johnson C. Smith, $5.7 million. Somebody said, "Keep on reading." That's the end of the book. Let me tell you a couple of things about this gift, other than the fact that it's large. The Duke Endowment trustees, there are 15 of us. Mr. Duke put us together to get to know each other pretty well because he requires us to meet every month. But these are not the best of times for foundations. Our investments have gone down. You all know that. It's a time when foundations, I think, if they are doing their job, try to engage in the same sort of process of trying to make hard decisions, trying to figure where you can be relevant in a changing environment that you heard so brilliantly described by Howard in what he was saying earlier. We've gone through that kind of process. And it's our feeling that in the context of what we are about, there's not a more important grant that we could make than one to this institution at this critical part of its history. Without putting additional pressure on anybody, Johnson C. Smith University is at an inflection point. It has a wonderful leadership team in place. It has all kinds of wonderful ideas. What it needs is resources to carry those ideas into effect. The Duke Endowment is fortunate to have some resources available. And to be able to match those resources with this institution at this critical part of its history is really a very, very exciting thing. Over the course of the years, I won't try to do the math, but since 1924, when the Duke Endowment was formed by James B. Duke, a person who would have espoused much of what you heard about Family Dollar today, almost every one of those principles is something he himself would have believed in. But from 1924 till now, in the education area, there have been 4 institutions that the Duke Endowment has been directly involved with, including from the very beginning, Johnson C. Smith University. I think I'm accurate in saying that there has not been a time when we as trustees would have felt more excited about the future, about the opportunities that are there, than what we see today. This institution is very relevant to a lot of people today. It's relevant to this community, but as Ron is repeatedly pointing out to us, it can do a lot more. And we think this is the time to join forces with others in this community and elsewhere to do whatever we can to assist in a remarkable series of changes that we think will do so much good for the present and the future of Johnson C. Smith University. So it is a good day for Johnson C. Smith. It's a very good day for the Duke Endowment. Thank you very much for the chance to be here.
Whoa. T.S. Eliot, in one of his very imaginative and insightful poems, The Hallowed Men, talk about the gap between the dream and the reality, and how we all struggle at times to stand on our tiptoes to just touch a dream. It can be frustrating. At times it can be despairing. But if we believe there's always a margin of freedom where we say every morning, I will not scale down the ceiling of my hopes, you can reach it. And that's what the Duke Endowment makes possible, a margin of freedom, where we can wake up in the morning and say, by God, we will not scale down the ceilings of our hope, because we now have a substantial opportunity to increase the standards for admission into the university. We now have the opportunity to really make dynamic a center for applied leadership and community development, and where we can continue to embrace and engage neighborhood associations and teach our students the various styles of creative leadership, growing edge leadership. We now have the opportunity to make vital the Metropolitan College that will offer flexible degree programs to working adult students. Ah, it's a good day, a new day for a new Smith. And I want to thank the Duke Endowment for helping us saddle that dream. And I say to all of you, watch the space. Watch the space. Gene Cochran could not be here, but he was with us last night for dinner. Susan McConnell, right here. They have worked with us daily, encouraging us, at times saying, don't worry, it's going to happen. And I would say to Susan, Susan, I haven't unpacked my bags yet. Because we decided to take a calculated risk. The trustees backed us, but it was a calculated risk, what you're talking about, a promise. And today, the promissory note has been delivered. Thank you for tomorrow.